Chapter 5, we're going to take a look at consciousness, and we'll start off with a case study on biofeedback and consciousness. Biofeedback has shed some light on the nature of consciousness. Biofeedback is a system for monitoring and feeding back information about certain biological processes. Biofeedback monitors show, for example, when a person's heart rate is slower. It has some applications. It helps people see how voluntary behavior affects involuntary behavior, and it's also used to treat high blood pressure, seizures, migraine, headaches, and digestive disorders. Section 1 will take a look at what is consciousness. Consciousness, like intelligence or emotions, is a construct. That is, it is a concept that cannot be seen, touched, or measured directly. Consciousness has a number of different meanings, including sensory awareness, direct inner awareness, and a sense of self. There are several layers of consciousness, including the preconscious, the unconscious, and non-conscious. The main idea for Section 1 is consciousness, the awareness of things that are both inside and outside of ourselves, is an elusive but essential subject of study for psychologists. And there are 3 reading-focused questions. Why is consciousness a psychological construct? What are the general meanings of consciousness? And what distinguishes the different levels of consciousness from full conscious awareness? Take a look at that first one. Why is consciousness a psychological construct? Consciousness means the awareness of things that are both inside and outside ourselves. Psychologists have not always thought that consciousness should be a part of the study of psychology. Today, however, many psychologists believe that consciousness can be studied scientifically. Consciousness is a psychological construct because it cannot be seen, touched, or measured directly, and is known by its effects on behavior. Why do psychologists think consciousness can be studied? Consciousness can be linked with measurable behaviors such as talking and with brainwaves. Take a look at the meanings of consciousness. Consciousness as sensory awareness. One meaning of consciousness is sensory awareness of the environment. This meaning of consciousness is being aware of the things outside of yourself. Focusing on particular stimulus is referred to as selective attention. Consciousness as direct inner awareness. Direct inner awareness is when you are conscious of thoughts, images, emotions, memories, or abstract concepts. This meaning of consciousness is being aware of things inside yourself. Our consciousness has 3 main functions. It's to restrict our attention. It keeps our brain from being overwhelmed by stimulation by processing things serially and limiting what we notice and think about. And it provides us with a mental meeting place where sensation combines with memory, emotions, and motives. The conscious mind can take on a variety of roles, but it must focus sequentially on one thing and then another. Multitasking is not all it is cracked up to be. We have consciousness as a sense of self. Consciousness as a sense of self means that we are aware of ourselves and our existence. Only when young children grow older do they begin to understand that they are unique individuals, separate from other people and from their surroundings. Car accidents and texting. Why are people twice as likely to have car accidents when texting versus those who drive while drunk? Texting accidents are related to the fact that people think driving can be a completely automatic process, but they need to use controlled processing to respond. However, their controlled processing is focused on texting, so their attention does not shift. What are the 3 uses of the term consciousness? It can refer to sensory awareness, to direct inner awareness, and to consciousness as a sense of self. Next, we'll take a look at the different levels of consciousness. The non-conscious level refers to bodily processes such as the growing of hair, of which we are not aware. The non-conscious mind is great at multitasking. Where the conscious mind has the ability to focus on just one task, the non-conscious mind has no such restrictions. The conscious mind has to process things serially, while the non-conscious mind can handle many streams of information in parallel, like walking, chewing gum, and breathing. There are 2 levels of the non-conscious mind, preconscious and unconscious. Preconscious thought is stored knowledge that is retrievable into conscious awareness. It's information that is not currently in your consciousness, but can be recalled voluntarily. The unconscious level has information stored that is unavailable to awareness under most circumstances. It includes levels of brain systems that range from autopilot to those which can have subtle influences on conscientious and behavior. And we have altered states of consciousness. In altered states, a person's sense of self or sense of the world changes, and some examples could be sleep and hypnosis. We can use our conscious mind to zoom in on an image, so let's try it. Close your eyes and picture a cat. And hopefully you had a mental image. And your results, is the cat black? Does it have long tail? Does it have a collar on? Does it have short hair? Does it have white paws? Psychologists have found that the smaller the detail, the longer people take to respond. And then we have Freud and his levels of consciousness. Consciousness, this is the part of the mind that holds what you're aware of. You can verbalize about your conscious experience. You can think about it in a logical fashion. Pre-consciousness is ordinary memory. So although things stored here aren't in the conscious, they can be readily brought into conscious. And the unconscious, here's where Freud felt that this part of the mind was not directly accessible to awareness. It was a dump box for urges, feelings, and ideas that are tied to anxiety, conflict, and pain. These feelings and thoughts have not disappeared and are exerting influence on our actions and our conscious awareness. Freud said that the unconscious mind had an especially important role in our relationships. And it's depicted as an iceberg. Many memories, impulses, and feelings exist below the level of conscious awareness. What are Freud's 3 levels of consciousness? All right, so let's take a look at section 2, sleep and dreams.